Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Then, uh, just to review what we've done so far in this second section of the book An-Nahw al-Wadih, the clear Arabic grammar. Then the first thing we learned is that the fi'l from this aspect that we're talking about is divided into two types. Sahih al-Akhir and Mu'tal al-Akhir. If you just give me 1 second, ya akhwan wa akhwat. I'll judge about that. Okay, Sahih al-Akhir wa Mu'tal al-Akhir. What does this mean? It means that a verb, Mu'tal al-Akhir will say, we'll address it first, is a verb which the last letter is a alif, waw, or a ya. Right? Such as in, we'll say, da'a. Right? To call. It ends in an alif. And we have alqa or laqiya. Laqiya ends in a ya. And one ending in a wow, it escapes me right now. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let me see real quick if I can see one, I'm sure. As soon as I look. Okay.
Yes, the word wow, that's rare, ain't it?
No, it can happen. You got sarwa, ar-rajul, sarwa. Just, or you got other than that, right? Tasfu, because it could be past tense or present tense. Doesn't matter. It's ending in a wow. Yadnu. Anyway, these ending wows, alifs, yas, laqiya, yalqa, right? Laqiya ends in a ya, yalqa ends in an alif, basically, because this is an alif maksura. And there's yabni, which is another ya. Anyway, past or present, if it ends in a alif, a waw, or a ya, it's mu'tal al-akhir. Basically, this mu'tal comes from the word illa, which means like a sickness or a weakness, a deficiency, right? Sahih al-akhir is a verb that ends in any other letter besides an alif, a waw, or a ya. Your headphones is loose or something, Abdullah. Not sure. Something, I hear an echo, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, I got a volume up. What about now?
No, I don't hear it. So Sahih al-Akhir is every other letter. It ends in any other letter. That's what we covered, right? Then we said the purpose of this is going to be clear in this next statement, and that is verbs are also mabni and mu'rab. We could also break them up into mu'rab and mabni. What does mu'rab mean? Means the end, it changes. Right? The end, it changes. Right? Mabni, no. The end is always going to be the end, meaning the vowelization on it is always going to be the same. It's never going to change no matter what comes before it. It's mabni. Right? And we talked about not just the fi'l being mabni, but there are other things which are mabni too, like the harf. The huruf are mabni. Right? And from the fi'l, that which is mabni is the madi, the past tense, and the amr, the command. As for what is mu'rab, then it's only the mudari'. And we said that even some of the fi'l mudari' can be mabni. Even some of the fi'l mudari' can be mabni, right? And as well as that, asma, meaning nouns, right? So we have two categories of things which are mu'rab: fi'l mudari', the present tense verb, and asma, nouns. Everything else is mabni. The fi'l madi is mabni, the fi'l amr is mabni, and the huruf are mabni. So what is the purpose of this? Meaning, what is the purpose of what we have here in the red, being divided into sahih al-akhir wa mu'tal al-akhir? And that is, the rules for this mu'rab and mabni are going to be different based upon if the verb is mu'rab or if it's mabni. If it's mu'rab, if it's sahih al-akhir, then the mu'rab is going to be easy for us. Right? The mu'rab is going to be easy for us, and there will be exceptions when it comes to that which is mabni. Right? Meaning, or if it's mu'tal al-akhir, then what we're going to talk about basically here, we're going to be talking about the sahih al-akhir, and everything else is going to be an exception. As for the mu'tal al-akhir, then like we said, it's an exception and it's much less. So these rules that we're going to be learning are basically about those rules which are sahih al-akhir and mu'tal al-akhir we have to make exceptions for. Then we learn the types of bina, the types of something being mabni. We say it's mabni ala al-fattah, right? Al-fath or fattah, no problem. Al-kasra, al-kasr, they say. Ad-dam, right? Or as-sukun. That's how it's mabni. When something is mu'rab, we say it is marfu', mansub, majroor, and majzoom. And we talked last week about the fi'l mudari' and how it's mabni. We talked about fa'ala, fa'alat, right? Then fa'alta, fa'alta, fa'alti, and fa'altu. Okay, if we look, our verb fa'ala, these two are mabni, mabni ala fat. This is fi'l madi, not mudari. Fi'l madi, the past tense, I'm sorry. I said mudari. This is mabni ala al-fat. It's always going to have a fatha on this lam, no matter what comes before it. And these three is mabni ala sukun. No matter what comes before it, it's always going to have that sukoon there on that lam. And then we said fa'alu, fa'alu, fa'alna. Let me erase that. Fa'alna. Right? Here we have fa'altum. فعلتن. فعلتن. Even فعلنا. And as I said, I don't do the dual because we don't use it very often. But all of these as well are mabni ala sukoon. Right? فعلنا, فعلتم, فعلتن, فعلنا. All mabni ala sukoon. Whereas فعلوا is ala dhamma. Right? فعلوا. The lam is all, no matter what appears before it, that's what it's going to be. That's the fi'l madi. It's going to always have that vowelization. As Zubair asked us, what's the purpose for this? The purpose is, number one, when we start breaking down the words and stuff like that. But number two, when we start reading the books without vowels, we need to know how to pronounce this, because these three look exactly alike. Actually, these four look exactly alike. Right? Without vowels, they look exactly alike. So if we're talking about she, then we need to know to put a fatha here. If we're talking about you, we need to know to put a sukoon and a fatha on the top. If we're talking about you to a female, a sukoon on the lam and a kasra on the top. If we're talking about me, then a sukoon on the lam and a dhamma on the top. We need to know this. So we need to know how to vowelize this, and it's never going to change. This way, when we speak with proper Arabic. Right? فعلت, فعلت, فعلتي, فعلتو. So this is the purpose. Now, we're going to learn, and we said that the mu'tal al-akhir is going to have different rules. It's going to have a little bit different rules, the mu'tal al-akhir. Those that end in a waw or an alif or a ya, then they're going to be a little bit different here. They're not going to follow this exact same rule, and that's why we had that division in the first place. Now, we're going to talk about the fi'l amr and how it's mabni, in the ways that it's mabni. Like, is it mabni ala fat or dhamma or sukoon, and when? Right? So the first example, نظف أسنانك بعد الأكل. And you'll be amazed that when they teach this, how they teach us some benefits as well. They don't just teach us Arabic grammar. They also teach us some, if we pay attention to some of the statements, they teach us some wise statements and some wise behaviors and stuff, right? So you can imagine someone studying this, and now they're told, نظف, from نظف, meaning to clean. نظف, ينظف أسنانك, your teeth. Sin is tooth, أسنان is teeth. نظف أسنانك بعد الأكل. Clean your teeth after eating, right? نظف أسنانك بعد الأكل. Clean your teeth after eating. So we see this نظف. نظف is mabni ala sukoon. It's you. This is you. Clean your teeth. Singular. Masculine. It's not letting me write there. Singular and masculine. نظف أسنانك. Right? Clean your teeth. مبني على سكون. تحمل في سيرك.
Hold up.
What?
I don't know if it's a typo, but you said Asnanek.
No.
But that's Asnaneka. It's got a fatha over the K.
Yeah, I just paused when I spoke. نظف أسنانك.
Okay, all right.
I say Muhammad Rasulullah. I don't say Muhammadun Rasulullah every time. I say Muhammad Rasulullah.
I got you.
Okay. I'll try to focus on it. نظف أسنانك بعد الأكل. Right? The ka here is you, masculine. Right? And it could be asnanu, but because we're telling you what to clean, it's the maf'ulun bihi mansub. Nadhif asnanaka ba'd al-akl. And here this would be a kasra here if it was written. Ba'd al-akli, after ba'd, it's a dharf, so it's dharf mudaf ilayh. Ba'd al-akli, right? Ba'd al-akli. نظف أسنانك. Okay, we have the next one. تحمل في سيرك. تحمل comes from mahala, meaning to be deliberate. To be deliberate. في سيرك. Sayrik is your walking. When you walk, be deliberate. Meaning, don't just stroll and look around at everything. Have a purpose in what you're doing, right? تحمل في سيرك, but it's a command to a male singular, ka, just like in asnanaka, right? مبني على سكون. استمع نصح الطبيب. استمع from سمع. Here this استمع, you have a difference. You have سمع and استمع. Sami'a means to hear. Istama' means to listen. So when you go into the supermarket and they're playing music, you're not listening to music. You may be hearing it, but you're not listening to it. You're not focusing on it. You're not, oh yeah, that was the jam back then. Astaghfirullah. You're not, none of that. You're not listening to it. You're not keeping up with the lyrics. That's istami'. That's listening. Whereas sami'a, when you're calling the phone company and you have to listen to the wait music, the hold music, or the elevator music, this is not listening. This is just hearing. So istami', listen. Nusha tabib. Nusha is from nasiha, right? To the nusha, the advice of the doctor. Nusha tabib. Nusha is maf'ulun bihi mansub. Listen to what? Listen to the advice of the tabib, mudaf ilayh. Right? Istami' mabni ala sukun. Then we have, I want to go down. No, let's just keep in the same order, inshallah. Then we have استيقظنا مبكرات. استيقظنا meaning wake up. مبكرات. Right? But here, this noon is called the noon and niswa. The noon and niswa. So we have here in this form of they, or not they, because you can't order they, I'm sorry. You, feminine, plural. Right? If'alna. Right? Here we have istayqidna. You're talking to a group of women. You, feminine, plural. For some reason, it's not letting me write my past that little area there. So istayqidna mubakkirat. Wake up early. Mubakkirat meaning istayqidna mubakkirat meaning a group of women getting up early. Like istayqidna mubakkirat here, just wake up early to a group of women. Ajidna tabkha at-ta'am, like prepare cooked food, basically. It's a funny translation, like prepare a cooked meal. Ajidna from wajada yajidu, or ojada yujidu from form 4 of the verb. And this is the noon and niswa. We see though that our actual verb is mabni ala sukoon in every time. This dal is a sukoon, this ba is with a sukoon. In hadhibna awladakunna. Here we have the obvious female part there, right? But the noon is there obvious for female. You, plural. Hadhibna from hadhaba, meaning to discipline and to train your children, meaning to discipline them, to train them, to teach them manners. Hadhibna awladakunna, like discipline your children. This hadhaba is mabni ala sukoon. Hadhibna. We're going to explain it a little bit better when we get through the examples, and maybe we'll just take one from each group for now. Let me see. Go down. Okay. تجنبنا تجنبنا المزاح الكثير. تجنبنا. تجنب is to avoid or to stay away from. This noon here is the noon at-tawkid. An-noon, let's see, an-noon at-tawkid, meaning, and this one is thaqila, al-thaqila, because there is a khafifa, which is next. This noon and this noon at-tawkid al-thaqila means he's emphasizing this. It's like he's saying inna or qad or something like that, which is emphasizing the sentence, like indeed or verily, for sure, stay away. That's the goal. That's not the goal. The function of this noon at-tawkid al-thaqila here. The noon at-tawkid al-thaqila is a noon with a shadda at the end of a verb. تجنبن المزاح الكثير. This means, like he's warning you almost. Stay away from a lot of joking, a lot of playing. تجنبن المزاح الكثير. Al-mizah is joking, right? So that's the noon at-tawkid. If we look down below, احفظن عهد الصديق. From احفظ, to guard or to protect or to preserve. عهد الصديق, the covenant of the friend, meaning like your friendship, right? Protect and preserve your friendship, the covenant of the friend, right? Ahd as-Sadiq, Ahd is covenant or something like that, contract, as-Sadiq, so like the covenant of your friendship. But this ihfadan, this is the noon at-tawkid al-khafifa, meaning it just has a noon with a sukoon. Both of them are emphasis, but the noon with the shadda on it, the thaqila, is more emphasized. I don't think we've really had that, maybe only once or twice, and I haven't really addressed it because we didn't go over anything like that yet. But I don't think we've really had it in any of our words so far, right? So, ihfadan, but if we notice on both of these, tajannaba, it's mabni ala sukoon, ala al-fatha, right? This ba from our tajannaba has a fatha. Same as in ihfadan, it has a fatha. Now I could say tajannaban, and it would still be mabni ala al-fatha. I could say ihfadanna, and it would still be mabni ala al-fatha if I changed them from الثقيلة to خفيفة or خفيفة to ثقيلة. Any questions about this row so far?
Nah. making pretty good sense.
If anyone said anything I didn't hear, my computer went in and out for a second. Is there any questions about this row so far?
I said it's making pretty good sense, you know, just the terminology I just got to get used to.
What we're going to do is, those last two, the Nun, Tawqid, Thaqila, wa Khafifa, just don't worry about them for a minute. We'll go back to that. But don't worry about those. And I'll explain to you why, inshallah. But let's go back up a little bit. And let's look at one of these. Let's look at number 14. Right? Ud'u at-tabib. Ud'u at-tabib. It should be ud'u or ad'u. It should be tad'u. Tad'u at-tabib. That is, you call, but that's not a command. That's just a fi'l mudari. Tad'u at-tabib has a waw at the end. So this is a fi'l mu'tal al-akhir. Right? So ud'u at-tabib, this has a dhamma on it. Taharra should be taharra with a alif maksura or a ya, however you want to call it. Right? Taharra as-sidq. But because it's a command, then we drop our weak letter. If it's mu'tal al-akhir, if it's weak in the end, then our sign of bina is hadaf harf al-illa. To drop the weak letter. That's our sign of bina here. Hadfu harf al-illa. To drop the weak letter. So whenever it's a command, we're going to drop the weak letter because we can't put a sukoon or whatever here. And as we said, the verbs that are mu'tal al-akhir have a different rule here. So again, these three, the Nun al-Tawqid al-Thaqila wa Khafifa, as well as the Fi'l Mu'tal al-Akhir. We're going to skip those for now, or we're not going to skip them, but we're not going to give them a lot of attention. We're going to focus on the regular ones first, our regular verbs, which basically we have 5 when it comes to commanding someone. You can command, I'm talking to you, male or female, singular, dual, or plural. That's it. So those are the 5 types of verbs that we're going to be talking to. We're going to talk to you, male, singular, you, male, dual, you, male, plural, then you, female, singular, you, female, dual, and the only reason I said 5 because the female and the duals are the same, and you, female, plural. I can't command he, I can't command she, I can't command them, I can't command us. I can only command you. I can't tell myself to do something, and when I do tell myself to do something, then I'm talking to myself as if I am you. I might say, hey, you, Mustafa, chill. But then I'm talking to myself as if I'm a second person, not just to the first person anymore. You understand?
Yeah. Go back to you said the reading you said five because the female what are the same?
The duals are the same. The duals are the same. Those are gonna be the exact same. It's gonna be, okay, let me get another paper here. Let me see. So we start out, we're talking to a person. We say, taf'alu. This is the verb. Taf'alu. You do. Male, singular. Taf'alu. Taf'alina. Taf'alina. Okay. This is male, singular, female, singular. And then we have taf'alani. Right? It's the same for male, female, dual. Taf'alani, taf'alani. Same thing. And we have taf'aluna, taf'aluna is male, plural. Right? And then taf'alna. Taf'alna. Female, plural. Now, when we made these into a command, right? When we make these into a command, we're going to drop our ta. First thing we're going to do is drop the ta. So we're going to have fu'ul, right? And we're going to have to add a alif because we drop our ta on all of them, right? If'al, if'al, and we're going to put a sukoon on the end. Here, if'ali, we haven't gotten there yet. If'ali, right? We're going to drop our noon, and that's going to be our sign when we get over here. Where was it at? It's down here at the number 22. If I can get it to come up some. 1 second. Okay, number 22. Rattibi athath al-hujra. Rattibi athath al-hujra. Rattibi from rataba, meaning to order, to organize the furniture in the room, right? To straighten up. Rattibi would be rattibina. Rattibina. Right? But rattibina, we're going to drop our noon and say rattibi. Agliqi. Right? Agliqi. Because it should be tugliqina. Right? Tugliqina. Right? So it would be with a noon there. So we're going to drop our noon. Lock the door of the house. Then ihfadhi darsaki. Ihfadhi tahfidhina. Ihfadhina darsaki. Memorize your dars. So all of these should have a noon there. Igliqina, rattibina, ihfidhina. But, you know, it would have a ta in the front of it though, right? So we say, we're going to drop that and we're just going to have our sign here. Our sign here is a sukoon. It's always going to have that sukoon. Our sign here is hadaf an-noon. Hadaf means to drop or to remove, right? To get rid of. Hadaf an-noon. Taf'alani, which is the dual, we can see here. Iftaha nawafid al-hujrati. Iftaha, meaning you too. Open the door, the windows of the room. Akrima duyufakuma. You two honor your guests. You two guys' guests, or you two girls' guests, right? No problem. Uhzuza shajarat nabqi, like shake the lotus tree, right? Uhzuza should be tahzuzanni, should be a noon on all of these. But because of the being a command, when we make a command out of that verb, the taf'alani, we're going to say if'ala. And then the sign is going to be the hadaf noon. And when we were here, we didn't do that one yet, but we did the female here, didn't we? We did the female when we were here. The noon and niswa. Astayqadna. We said we're going to, here we did this one, we say if'alna. We said it's on the sukoon. The lam has a sukoon. Right? Then if we go here, ijma'u samar al-bustan. Gather the fruits of the garden. Istahimmu fin nahr. Take a bath in the river. Ukhruju ila al-huqul. Go out to the fields. So these are all tajma'una. Tajma'una. We drop the ta, put an alif, drop our noon, ijma'u. Right? Istahimmu is tastahimmuna. We drop our ta, add an alif, and drop our noon. Right? Tukhrijuna ila al-huqul, but we're commanding, so we drop our ta, add an alif, and drop our noon. It's going to become ukhriju. Right? Ukhriju. So these here, when we put taf'aluna, it's going to be if'alu. It's going to be hadaf an-noon for these. So those 5, or if you say 6, because this one is male and female, right? And these are always going to be like this. And these are the ones we're going to command. These are our normal sahih al-akhir verbs. If'al, if'ali, I'm commanding. Do, if'ala, do, if'alu, do, if'alna, do. Right? To women. But we see that our lamb here as a sukoon. Our lamb here as a kasra, but we dropped our noon here. So that's our sign. If'alani, we dropped our noon. If'aluna, we dropped our noon. If'alna, everything else stayed the same. So we're just going to say it's mabni ala sukoon. Now our exceptions come in, and I'm going to stop and give room for a question before I bring the exceptions back up. Our exceptions come in with noon, al-tawqid, al-thaqila, wa khafifa, and al-fi'l mu'tal al-akhir. Are there any questions? Please repeat what?
All of it.
All of it, okay.
No.
Okay, first off, do we see here how we got our command verb? We've been talking about how to do a command verb for a while, right? How to make a command. So let's take an actual word besides fa'ala. Let's take my favorite example I bring is jalasa, right?
Jalasa.
We have tajlisu. That is a male. Sitting. You are sitting. Tajlisina. Tajlisina. You are sitting to a female. Right? Tajlisani. You are sitting, or you two are sitting, male and female. Doesn't matter. Tajlisani. Right? Then we have tajlisuna. Tajlisuna wa tajlisna. These are you, a group of people are sitting, male and female, right? Tajlisna. Okay, that's our 5 words. We got you. All of these are you. I'm not going to write you just because they're all you. This is masculine singular. This is feminine singular. This is dual feminine and masculine. They're the same. Then we have you masculine plural and you feminine plural. That's the word. Tajlisu, tajlisina, tajlisani, tajlisuna, tajlisna. Now we're going to turn them into verbs, or command verbs, because right now they're mudari, they're present tense. I want to turn them into a command. I want to say, I'm going to drop my ta on all of them. Right? I'm going to drop my ta. I'm going to say, I'm going to add an alif. I'm going to say, ijlis, and I'm going to make my dhamma a sukoon. Ijlis. I'm going to tell the woman, ijli si. Ijli si. I'm going to drop my noon. Right? 2 people, I'm going to tell them, ijli sa. Ijli sa. I'm going to drop my noon. A group of men, tajlisuna, you guys are sitting. I'm going to tell all of those guys to sit. I'm going to say, ijli su. I'm going to drop my ta. I'm going to drop my noon. I have to add this alif here only for protection of my wild purposes, right? So my sign here is that I drop my noon. To the group of women, I'm going to say, ijlisna. Ijlisu. And here, ijlisna. Right? So I didn't do anything except change my ta here. So my seen is still with a sukoon. So my sign here is a sukoon. My sign here is the hadaf noon. My sign here is the hadaf noon. My sign here is the hadaf noon. And my sign here is the sukoon. Now that is mabni ala sukoon, mabni ala hadaf noon, like this. That's going to be our sign. So whenever we read that in a book, we're going to know how to read it. And if we want to tell someone something, we're going to know how to make that verb. Now, as we said, the exceptions come in with نون التوكيد والثقيلة والفعل معتل الآخر. So, let's look at this. We said here, let me erase some of this stuff here. We said here, تجنبن المزاح. This noon at-tawkid, it doesn't require us to put it in a, well, I guess it does here because it's a fi'l amr. So retract that what I was about to say, right? tajannabanna, this is form 5, right? So these are this thing that I did here is all form 1 verbs, right? Form 2 verbs, they take the amr in a little bit different way, as we see here in rattibi, right? Rattibi, we don't put a, it doesn't say turattibi, it has it with yes it does, but the reason is form 2 is different. Let me see if I can show it to you. We have rattibi. Let me see. Let me go back. Turattib. Why did I get two dots there? Yeah, hold on. Why you let me do that? Turattib. We have turattibu. Turattibu. You arrange or order. Turattibina. Turattibina. Right? Turattibuna or turattibani. Turattibani.
Okay, now
but all this now is tough.
These are verbs, right?
These are all verbs. Turattibani.
Okay.
It's the same thing as the tajlisani.
But this is not command. This is what.
This is present tense. Turattibuna. This is just a form 2 verb. This is the same thing here. Tajlis, except this is form 2. As we see our shadda on the second radical, right?
I understand the format, but I'm saying, what is this saying?
I'm gonna show you in a second. If you let me finish. I said it means to order. If you let me finish, I will tell you what it does. Right? Exactly. Because the second harf has a vowel above it, it does not need the hamza, as we did that before. As in, we said, for instance, akala. Akala, when we make it, we say we have the person ta'kulu, right? Ta'kulu, you are eating. If I want to make it a fil amr, I'm going to drop my ta, right? All right, let's do this because that one has a hamza already. So let's do taqulu. Let's do taqulu. Taqulu. You are saying, and I want to tell you to say. For instance, taqulu. I want to drop my ta. I just have qawwala or cool, right? Do I need an alif here? No. Why? Because my second radical already has a dhamma on it. So I don't need an alif. And then I drop my weak one, I say cool or cool, like this. So the same thing happens here when I say turattibu. Then since when I have tajlisu, when I drop my ta, right? When I drop my ta, my second radical has a sukoon on it, so I need my alif. But here, when I drop my ta, my second radical is already voweled, so I don't need an alif. So I say rattib. Rattib. I want to talk to a man. I'm telling him to arrange something. Rattib ghurfatik. Organize your room. I tell my son, Rattib ghurfatik. I tell my 2 sons, Rattiba. Ghurfatik. So Abdullah tells his 2 sons, Rattiba. Ghurfatakuma. So the form 2 has a little bit of a different way of making it, and so on and so forth, right? So here though, tajannabanna, we don't need to put an alif because when we drop our ta, تتجنب تتجنب تتجنب. Right? Then when we drop our ta, our second radical already had a fatha on it, so we don't need to put an alif there. Unlike the same thing is here, ta'ashiruna. Same thing, tu'ashiruna. Then it already has an alif there. So when I drop my ta, I mean a fatha there. So when I drop my ta, I don't need to put an alif and say asha, no, because I already have my vowel there, right? And we can't start with a sukoon. Whereas in tukhrijuna, then when I drop my ta, my second letter has a sukoon, so I have to put the alif, right? But here, the point of their examples are, is this noon at-tawkid at-thaqila, ukhrujna, ukhruj. This would be just really one person. Ukhruj. Ukhruj. It would be ukhruj. You could tell this to one person. But because I added this noon at-tawkid at-thaqila, then I got a fatha on my jeen. So when you add the noon at-tawkid at-thaqila to a command, tajannabanna, tatajannab, it should be a sukoon if it didn't have that. Tajannab. But here, I want to add the noon at-tawkid at-thaqila, so it says tajannabanna, and it's mabni ala sukoon. And we only have a minute or so left, so what I'm going to do is next week we'll go over the Sahih al-Akhir verbs again, which are these 5 here on this page, and we'll cover that real quickly, and then we'll go over the exceptions instead of moving to another chapter. Are there any questions though in this last minute or so?
So what I was saying with those words, you said them verbs, and it was command, tidy up your room.
Right.
Okay, so there's still a command verb.
Yes, but I don't need.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying because that's what I was trying to figure out. Okay, because I was under the question.
Turattibu here. These are not commands on this right side. Turattibu, what turattibina? This is you are cleaning up your room. You are cleaning up your room to a female. You too are cleaning up your room. You guys are cleaning up your room. You girls are cleaning up your room.
It's a statement.
These are fi'l mudari.
Okay.
These are fi'l mudari. But if I want to make them into a command, when I drop my ta, like I did in tajlis, I have to add an alif because my first letter, when I drop my ta, has a sukoon on it. Whereas in rattib, it doesn't have, it has a fatha, so I don't need to add my alif. That's why when you see rattibi here, even though it's a command, it doesn't have the alif because it's in a form 2, which doesn't require the alif because the second letter is already going to be vowelized.
Yeah, I understand that, but I was just trying to see about that because the first column, it was a verb, and I'm looking, okay,
present tense.
Okay, but it's not a command verb, so it's a different.
Right. The command verb, we drop our ta, right? And then, depending on what else we do, we drop a noon, we drop a dhamma, we make it a sukoon, stuff like this. So if we understand how to make a verb, which we did here, right? Which we did here from taf'alu to if'al, and which we did here from tajlisu to ijlis, tajlisuna, ijlisi, right? If we understand that, then we understand the first 5 or 6, which are, male and female, if you count this one as 2. We understand those, no problem, because we already know how to make a command verb. The issue just now becomes with the noon, at-tawqid al-thaqila, with noon at-tawqid al-khafifa, and when it has a harf illa is the last letter of the verb. Then those will be our exceptions. Other than that, then we'll know ijlis is always with the sukoon, right? Ijlisi is always dropped the noon. Ijlisan is always dropped the noon. Ijlisun is always dropped the noon. And ijlisna is going to be always with a sukoon. We'll know that, and it's easy. And just before I go today, later today, I'm going to announce a class, inshallah ta'ala, that will be on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm going to try to make it, unless you guys tell me anything different within the next couple hours. I'm going to try to make it from 2 to 3 p.m. St. Louis time, which would be 3 to 4 p.m. East Coast. Right? It's access to Quranic Arabic. It's kind of teaching some of the stuff we're learning now, but it's dealing with nothing but the Quran, examples from the Quran. It's a really good book with an exercise book that we'll be able to go through instead of like skipping the exercises here that are in An-Nahw al-Wadih. We won't skip the exercises that go with that book. Inshallah, it'll be every Saturday and Sunday from this time, so be on the lookout. Unless someone tells me a time different, that's the time I'm thinking. That makes it 10 to 11 at night for me. Right? So, inshallah, you have any suggestions or whatever, once I send it out, then let me know. I could send it to just you guys first. And if you guys have any comment, then if there needs to be any changes, since you guys will get priority, then I will make the changes before I send it out to everybody, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.